Hey guys, hope everybody's doing okay today. If you notice, I'm in a little bit of a different position while recording this video. I ended up inheriting my son's computer, and when we went to go plug in my webcam and my light to this computer, to my USB hub that's connected to this computer, it decided to burn them up. So I scrambled around and tried to find a workaround, and now I'm recording on my iPhone and sharing my screen. So I hope this comes out okay. My webcam used to be up high, so you didn't see my microphone, and now you're going to see my microphone. But just let me know, give me some feedback down below, and if that's okay, and if sound is okay, video is okay, and all that good stuff. And thank you for all the new subscribers. We are growing here quickly. I really appreciate it. If you could just give me a like and share, and let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to interact and get to know all you out there, so I appreciate that. But what I'm looking at today is another high yield ETF, and it's a very popular one. Well, I wouldn't say it's popular, but it is popular, but it's kind of an unknown. It has an interesting set of strategies. Well, I call it one strategy, and we'll take a look at it. But this thing pays monthly. It currently has about 11.5% dividend yield, and that is from Global X, and the ticker symbol is SDIV, and that's the Global X Super Dividend ETF. It's a super dividend ETF. Now we'll go through Seeking Alpha here, and we'll just look at a few things. Right off the bat, expense ratio is 0.59. Most ETFs that you find that pay monthly are going to have a little bit on the high side of an expense ratio. And I misspoke. Its current yield 11.25%. And let's take a look here. I like this new updated Seeking Alpha. It shows what the 5-year return is, what the 1-year return is. So you look at the 5-year return of this ETF, and it is down 21.87% over those 5 years. Now, I believe this is just at price only, not including dividends reinvested, but I could be wrong. We'll try to check that when we go to our 10,000 invested in this fund and see how well it did. We'll take a look at the holdings tab here, and we'll see. No, first let me do this. Let's do this. Let's look at the Global X site, and we'll look at the definition here. The Global X Super Dividend ETF invests in 100 of the highest dividend yielding equity securities in the world. So it's a international fund, including US. So let's look at the holdings and see if any of them was recognizable to us. But off the bat, we see that it's super heavy in real estate, almost 29% in real estate, 17% in basic materials, 16.5% in energy, 10% in financials, almost 8% in industrials, 7% in communications, 6% in consumer defensive, 5% in consumer cyclical, and less than 1% in technology. So if we go down here and we look at some of their top holdings, I only recognize a couple of these. BGS Foods I recognize, if you know the Jolly Green Giant. BGS Foods is the owner of the Jolly Green Giant and a bunch of other brands. They're actually they're a pretty big company. What else here? All these are all energy, looks like. Foreign energy, foreign steel, Royal Mail, I'm not sure what that is. Vector Group, I believe, is a cigarette company, if I remember correctly. The top 10 holds 16.64% of the fund. The fund has 125 holdings altogether. Now let's look at the dividends. Let's look at dividend history here. Now let's look at dividend yield, something we haven't done. Now we'll look at the past 5 years, and you'll see, if you look right there is where you'll see the dividends. So back in 2015, the dividend was 6.29%, and it's slowly increased, to 7, stayed in that 6 to 7 range for all of 17, and then 2018 it bumped up to 7, got up to 9, and just recently here in March it ballooned to 18. Now, where it has now settled to 11.25. Now, some of people might look at this and go, wow, well, the yield has gotten bigger. Well, the yield has only gotten bigger in direct relation to the price going down. So if you look at it from June of 2019, look at it from June of 2019, it was around $17, and it's kind of tracked that all of 2019. Let's go to a 5-year chart. That makes it better. So 5 years ago it was at $22, and it's just kind of just deteriorated from there. Side to side, if you looked at it from 2015 to 2018, it's kind of traded flat, and you collected that dividend over those years. But ever since 2018, it has just been on a downhill slide, and it really hasn't stopped, unfortunately. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the flaw of them only seeking the highest dividend payers in the world, and it not working out very well. But you can see from that peak in January of 2018 till today, down to $11.97. And then if you look at the dividends, the actual dividends paid out, you'll see at the 5-year, it paid out monthly for a good while. It actually raised its dividend for 2018, and then in 2019 it started to come down, and where we're at today, just last year it was paying 12.22 cents a month, and now it's only paying 7.5. So that's in the 40% decline. So yeah, it pays monthly. It's a high yield, but it's only a high yield because of the decrease in price and the decrease, the loss of capital, basically. So I went into some fact sheets to go look at the index that it tracks, and I wanted to see what the index formula was and a couple other things. I forget what I was looking at here. Here we go. To determine the initial composition, the companies in the selection pool are ranked in descending order according to their dividend yield. The 100 companies with the largest dividend yield on that day are then chosen as index components. So that pretty literally, there was some things about, they looked for news if they were going to cut, but there's no real fundamental looks at it, I don't believe. It just really looks at the dividend yield. There's some other stuff, here. Dividend forecast is at least stable. That there is no official announcement as of the selection day that dividend payments will be canceled or significantly reduced in the future. It will not include closed-end funds, business development companies, or partnerships or trusts. So it won't include master limited partnerships like energy and real estate trust. There's some royalty oil companies. It won't include like business development companies such as Maine, and it won't include closed-end funds. So it just looks for equity companies. So who do I think this fits? Well, I don't know. Let's take a look at his performance and let's make a decision. So we got the SDIV here in the ETF channel, and let's look at comparing it. Let's compare it to the QYLD, since that's been a hot topic lately. And if we look here, SDIV with dividends reinvested since December 12, 2013, you had a loss of 14.49% if you reinvested the dividends, whereas in QYLD you had a total return of 47.95%. And then in SDIV, if you actually got better performance if you took the cash. So this is one of those instances where reinvesting dividends is not a good idea, because if you look here, if you just took the dividends and a cash payment, your total return from that same time period would have been minus 4.33%. So as long as you didn't reinvest the dividend, you turned out okay. You only lost 4% of your money, but you gained, you got use of that almost roughly 7 years of dividend payments. I hope that makes sense. And then QYLD, it performed a little less if you just took the cash, which is interesting. But still, 37% total return with just taking the cash. So in other words, you put $10,000 in and you collected that dividend for 7 years, and at the end of those 7 years you ended up with that $10,000 ended up with $13,711.50. So is SDIV good for you? I don't know. It's an income fund. A lot of Global X funds have income as the main objective. So if income is your main objective, maybe SDIV will fit you. You could possibly get some upside. I'm not saying you won't, but if you look at it, within the last month, it's up 21% already. Will it keep going? I don't know. High yield scares me. Equity yield, the Global X QYLD, it's a high yield, but the strategy is a little different. It's not really relying on the performance of individual companies. It's relying on option trading and the market a little bit. So I don't know. Do you hold SDIV? If you do, comment down below and let me know if you're happy with the performance. If you're a long-term holder, do you just take the dividends and reinvest them elsewhere, or do you reinvest them into SDIV? Let me know any thoughts, any comments. Let me know down below. I appreciate every one of you. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.